step-by-step how to buy property in the Dominican Republic. Buying property in the Dominican Republic is not difficult, everybody, but it is very different from buying property in the US or Canada. Most of the mistakes that I've seen over the last 6 years on the North Coast did not come from bad intentions. They came from buyers simply not understanding how the process actually works here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the real step-by-step structure of buying property in the Dominican Republic from the first conversation all the way to closing so that you can understand what to expect before you ever make a move. This is not a sales video, it's a clarity video. Step 1, clarity before searching. The first step actually happens before you ever look at a property. One of the biggest differences here is that serious buyers don't start with listings. They start with clarity. Clarity about budget, clarity about lifestyle versus investment goals, and clarity about which part of the North Coast actually fits what they're trying to accomplish. I've seen buyers fall in love with properties online. They go buy a ticket, they fly here excited, and then they realize that the location did not match their long-term plans at all. The DR is different. And that's not because the property was bad, it's because the process started backwards. When you begin with clarity, everything else becomes easier. Step 2, property search reality. Once your goals are clear, then the search begins. But expectations need to shift just a little, okay? The Dominican Republic market doesn't function exactly like North America. That means that what you see online is only part of what's actually happening on the ground. Listings change. Some properties sell quickly, and not everything that looks available online is truly active. I've had clients send me properties they were truly excited about, only to find out that those listings had already moved months earlier. We don't have a typical MLS system like we have in the States where everything has to be updated on time. Okay, so stuff sometimes is dated, it's not available. And that's just part of how this market works and why local guidance matters more during this stage. Step 3, offer and deposit structure. Talk about that money now. And this is usually the moment where buyers feel the biggest difference from the US or Canada. When you find a property that makes sense, the process moves into negotiation and deposit structure. The deposit here isn't just about money, it's about intention. It signals that the buyer is serious, and it allows the legal process to begin. The due diligence, that's the most important part of this buying process, okay? That's where you get your protections at, the due diligence. Now, I've seen buyers during this step, they hesitate simply because they didn't fully understand what happens after a deposit. And that hesitation almost cost them the opportunity entirely. However, when you understand the structure behind it, this step becomes much more comfortable. Which takes us to step 4, lawyer and due diligence. One of the most important parts of buying property in the Dominican Republic is the due diligence phase, handled by a lawyer. And when I tell you it's the most important, it is the most important. This is where title verification happens. Documents are reviewed, and the legal protection for the buyer really takes shape. Sometimes buyers get nervous if things slow down here. But honestly, when a deal pauses during due diligence, it often means the process is working exactly how it should. And island time is a real thing, so you don't want to rush anything. So this step isn't about speed, it's about protection. Now that we have you protected, we're moving on to step 5, contract and timeline. Once due diligence is complete, the transaction becomes more structured. A formal purchase agreement is prepared, timelines are clarified, and expectations become more defined. One thing buyers quickly notice is that deals here don't move on pressure. They move on verification. And when you understand that rhythm, the process feels far more predictable. Without understanding that, you'd be stressed out. Stressed out. Don't get stressed out. Don't do it. And now that you let go of all that stress, we're on to step 6, closing and transfer. Closing in the Dominican Republic is structured, but it may feel different from what many buyers expect back home. Back home, we're doing champagnes, gifts, a big little ceremony. It's a situation. However, here it's different. Ownership transfers happens through a real legal process that prioritizes documentation and verification, not closing gifts. Some buyers expect an instant handoff the moment money transfers. That's not the case. Here, there's a natural rhythm to how ownership finalizes. When you know what to expect, this final stage becomes smooth instead of stressful. We're used to different things back home, folks, but this is not Kansas anymore. This is not how things go. It's different. So now that you understand the buying process, let's talk about now that you understand the buying process, let's talk about some common buyer concerns. Let me quickly address the few concerns I hear all the time. Number 1, yes, foreigners can legally own property in the Dominican Republic. You can do it. Come on out. Get your DR property. You can own here. Number 2, yes, there are structured ways to protect yourself during the process, but you have to get with someone who understands the process so that they can make sure that you have what you need to protect yourself. Number 3, no, buying here does not have to feel risky when the steps are understood and followed correctly. Most of the fear people feel comes from uncertainty, not from the process itself.